Hi everyone, in the Linux Mastery class, we are going to look at the Linux file system today. And the file system, as most people think, is a very complicated topic, but it's not. Once you understand the file system, everything will start to make sense to you in terms of computing. In this video, I'll break down the Linux file system in a simple, practical way, so you can navigate like a pro on the computer as you are using it for development, for cybersecurity, for ethical hacking, and for system administration. You will be able to do a lot of things if you really understand what the Linux file system is, because almost everything in terms of servers, network devices, mobile devices, most of them are actually having Linux in the base. So understanding the Linux file structure is a very good addition to your career. Now, the file system is just how the operating system organizes files and stores files. You can just think of it as just a digital filing, where you have a cabinet, you just stock your files and folders in a manner that is understandable by anyone, so that it's easier to navigate through them. Unlike the Windows system, where you have the C drive, the D, E, F, and then you know where to go from where, the Linux file system is a single structure in a tree form, where it has a starting point and then goes down. The Linux file structure starts from the home directory, which is represented by a slash in the terminal. So if you are inside the Linux terminal, the slash means you are in the home directory. So as you can see, this means I'm in the home directory. So from here, I can now move into the base, just like the main gate to a very large estate. So that is what the Linux terminal is, the Linux file structure starts from. Now in Linux, everything starts from the home, as I said, and it's just at the top of everything. Every file, every folder that can be found on the system, it's actually, you can find it from this very location. You just need to know which door to open at the right time. Now let's break down some of the most important directories you need to know in the Linux world. The first one is, there are a lot. I'm just going to list out the folders inside the home directory. So we have a lot of folders, as you can see, and a file. These folders all represent a particular location where some group of things are kept. I first want to talk about the home directory. The home directory is where user files are stored. User files are whenever you create or you format or you install an operating system, there are two users that are created in terms of Linux: the root user and then the normal user. The normal user allows you to perform tasks that are not system inclined, tasks that will not damage anything in terms of misuse of privilege. Then if you move into the home and you list out, you see that we have a single user. Anytime you create a new user, a folder is created for them. All their files are found here. And as you can see at the beginning of the video, that's, as you can see at the beginning, this is the home user for the current user that is logged into the system. So this is how the Linux file systems are organized. So anytime you create a new user, you are having a folder found here, so you know how to navigate your systems anytime. The second one is the etc folder. From now on, I'm just going to move directly into the etc folder. Look at the etc folder. In the etc folder, it contains configuration files. As you know, every hardware, every software need to be configured in a certain way. So think of it as a control center for your system setting. The network configuration, user accounts, installed services, installed drivers, and many other things, you find their configurations here. So if you break something in the system and in this location, your system might not come up at all because something might have gone wrong. So that is why you have to be careful with some of these folders. The next one we are going to look at is the bin, and the bin is short for binary. So this folder contains essential commands and programs. You see, all these things I'm typing in the terminal, they are actually commands, and they are actually a written program that is running on this very system. So they have at least their folder content in this bin folder, and for the user, you can see it in the user / bin, and their binaries are always found here. Look at the install command, the ionic, the IP, a lot of commands are found here, and there we go with the bin. Then there's another important folder, which is the var. Go home and let's cd into the var. So inside the var folder, it stores variable data because there are some data that change frequently. So if a data changes frequently, it's stored in the var folder so that it can be accessed and modified at will. Then an example of it is the log, the system log. Remember, anything that happens on your system, the keyboard activities, the mouse click, everything is logged in a file in this folder. So that is what you would find in the var folder. And we also have a very important folder, and for those who are into cybersecurity or debugging, this folder is actually very important because you would be able to find a lot of things in this very folder in terms of dates, in terms of things that are ignored. You'll be able to find it in this very folder. And when we get into the cyber security and ethical hacking aspect, you would enjoy this training. We also have the user folder. It's not the normal user spelling. Remember, you need to add the slash for me to go directly there. So inside the user folder, it contains user installed application. You see those games, those video players that you installed on your own, it didn't come with the operating system. Those will be found in this very folder. That means when the user is deleted, those applications that are only for that very user can be removed, and only the ones for the other user will be left. It's like a system software, it's like a software warehouse for your system. So that is the user folder. Then we have the root. So we have a folder called roots on its own, and that is where the system administrators directory is found. And it's actually not the same as the slash folder, because the slash folder is where you start from. It's the root directory, but there's a root folder where the root user, the administrative user, is having his files, his folders, his documents. They are all stored. If the user logs in as root, then he would his files are saved inside that very root folder. It's actually the super user stores their files in that very folder. So we have the mount. We have the mount folder. It's not mount. Remember, I said it's because I was already already at the root. That's why I'm using the cd mount without the slash before the mount. That way I'll just move directly into it, not looking for a different mount. So the mounts and the media folder, they're actually very similar. These are used for mounting external drive. The USB you plug, the optical drive, the network storage device, and a lot of things that you plug into your system from outside, they are actually stored in this very mount folder, so that your printer that you plug, and many more. So anytime you connect anything, the system will bring it into this very folder, so that when you remove it, it also drops it from it. Then we have the temp folder. The temp folder. Sorry. So inside the temp folder, we have temporary files. Remember when you are running those installations, those app get installed, usually a temporary location is created so that while the file is still downloading, it is stored somewhere, and it is not going to be stored somewhere that, since you don't always clean your system, it's safe to put it in a folder that anytime the system is going down, that folder should be flushed. So that's the function of the temp folder, and the files here can be deleted automatically when the system reboots. That's what it does. So outrun cd. So if I tree, like I told you, I said everything in the Linux system is starts from the root location. It's still loading because there are a lot of things on this very system. Just the way you are seeing, that is how the Linux file system is arranged. I'll just exit out of this command, and by now you should have understood what your file system is and how it works. Now remember, I used the /cd/ to go to the root directory. That is where everything starts. I can also cd into tilde, where it will go to the home directory of the current user. So this is the same folder you are seeing here. So this is the same location, as you can see. So any question, put it in the comment section below, and let's see which of the folders have you learned today.